In the dense forest, where the trees leaned over the road, casting shadows pale as death, Alexander, led by his own thoughts, saw the silhouette of a girl in white on the roadside. His heart beat faster as he approached, but when he reached where she was supposed to be, there was nothing there. He looked around, trying to make out something in the darkness, but in vain. Deciding that his eyes were deceiving him, he returned to his car. But when he tried to start it, the engine only growled and refused to obey. Alexander tried not to panic, but when his attempts proved futile, he got out of the car again, now with the aim of finding help. The forest was dark and gloomy, and even the sounds of his own footsteps seemed muffled and distant to him. But he kept going, hoping for light, which was breaking through the trees ahead. And then after some time he saw it light from afar, illuminating something that looked like a cottage. Alexander approached, hoping for help, for comfort, for anything to end this nightmare. But as he approached the house, he noticed that something was wrong. This house looked old and abandoned, surrounded by the dark emptiness of the forest. He felt something tightening in his gut, as if a sense of doom. As he approached closer to knock, he felt a sudden blow to his head, which plunged him into darkness. When he woke up, he was lying on the floor in a dark room. His head was throbbing, and he could barely move. He looked around and realized that he was in some kind of basement. The walls were damp and covered with mold, and the smell of decay filled the air. Suddenly, from the darkness, a figure approached him. Long hair fell over her face, and he could only see her pale, ghostly features. "You've come into my domain, boy," she said, her voice cold and unnatural. "Now you're mine." Alexander felt a coldness that pierced his soul. He realized that he was trapped in something much more terrifying than just being lost in the forest. In his heart, the words of an old omen he had heard in childhood echoed, "Beware the forest spirits, for they hunt lost souls to drown them in eternal darkness." The words pierced him like sharp blades, and he realized that his fate was now in the hands of this ghostly creature in white. In the darkness of the basement, he heard only his own terrified scream, realizing that he had been swallowed by the endless night of the forest, and that his story, like the story of many others, would end here, in the gloomy abode of forest darkness.